Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I've got new projects that I'm really excited to share with you. Thank you so much for popping in to visit with me here in my craft room. In today's episode, we are going to be making wood crafts using supplies from the Dollar Tree. I don't know when's the last time you swung by your Dollar Tree, but they have some really beautiful new products there. All of these different wood trays have different finishes with the scallops or beveled edge and different size boxes. All right, now let's get crafting. Grab 3 of the smallest boxes from the Dollar Tree and this free printable that I'm going to be providing you with a link down below in the description box where you can grab that. This is a really beautiful printable with some vintage birds on it. I think birds are one of those universal animals that I love keeping in my home all year long. And what we're going to do is we're going to just trim these down to fit inside the box. Now what I like to do, the easiest, quickest way to do it is I make a cut and then I line it up to see that it sneaks into the box, and I just keep going until I get the first one sized down to the right size that I need. And then I'm going to take that bird that I just cut out and I'm going to lay it on top of the other printables. This makes it really quick to be able to cut them all out to the right size. Make sure you flip over the box and take off the tags. I always like removing all the tags before I start painting. Once you've got the tags removed, I'm going to go ahead and paint these boxes black. Now you can paint them any color you want, but I really love the beautiful look of a high-end French country style, and that has a lot of black in it, a lot of black and a really beautiful blue. So I'm going to paint these black first, but then I'm going to sand down the sides, and you're going to see me do that in a second. So I just give them one coat because these absorb the paint really well. Once everything is painted and dried, then took some rough sandpaper, grit sandpaper, and I'm just gonna, wherever there's a corner or an edge, I'm gonna sand it down to give it that French country look. Go ahead and just rough up the sides a little bit wherever you feel is the look you're going for, or not. Some people don't like to sand down the edges, but again, I like that French country look. So I'm just going to sand all of those corners, and now I'm going to move on to my prints. So instead of using the Mod Podge, I'm going to be hitting the printable with some hairspray. That's going to lock in the ink from the ink printer. And then I'm going to go ahead, let that dry, and it flattens out, but I'm going to have to, you know, smooth it out just a little bit because it does kind of want to wrinkle, but not enough where it destroys the image. I like using hairspray for this exact purpose because it locks in the ink and it doesn't cause anything to smudge or have issues. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a lot of adhesive to the back with my tape gun, and I'm going to go ahead and add those images into the box so that way it has a sealed finish to the actual image. Once they have all been glued inside of the boxes, aren't these so cute? This is just pennies to make these. They're so beautiful, and decor stores sell these for so much. Flip over the back side and I'm going to add some little marking spots where I'm going to add some twine so I can hang these up on a wall with a tiny nail, or you could even just set them up on a shelf. That would be really beautiful too. I'm going to add some hot glue, come in with my small cut down piece of twine, glue that into place, and then add a little bit more hot glue on top of it so it locks it all into place. Once those are done, they're ready to be displayed in your home for a beautiful budget-friendly cost using Dollar Tree supplies. Grab one of these beautiful bevel-edged boxes from the Dollar Tree wood section, one of these glass votive candle holders, some foam, and then some greenery. I've said this a million times here on my channel, but I like picking up the long garland greenery from Hobby Lobby when they're on sale, and it goes a long way for about $10. So once I've got all my supplies put to the side, I'm going to go ahead and paint my box black. You can paint it whatever color you want. I say that a lot here on my channel. I'm a big believer in people customizing things the way they want them to look. But I'm going to go for a French country look with this project. I'm going to use my scraper. I love this tool. I will link it down below. It is like the best little tool. It takes stickers off, even the most stubborn ones, so easily, and the blade on it is plastic. I also thought I would show this key. I get asked about this all the time here on my channel. I was starting a new bottle of E6000. Whenever I start a new one, I always try to show the key because people ask all the time, what is that thing on your E6000 bottle? It just slips on the bottom, and then when you twist it, it helps squeeze out all of the glue. Now, if you've never used an E6000 bottle before, I thought I would show this process. When you take off the lid, it's sealed, and at the top of the cap, there's a little pointy part. You push that down into it, and it starts your bottle. All right, I'm going to use E6000 on the bottom of my glass, and I'm also going to come in with some hot glue. The hot glue is for a quick hold, and the E6000 is for a long time hold. So I'm going to just add that right to the bottom, couple of dots of both of these adhesives, and then I'm going to center it and push it down into place. Now the E6000, you can see it's still drying in there, but the hot glue is already holding it in place. That's why I like using both. Go ahead and sand all the corners, anywhere where there's a corner. This is going to give us that French country look. And then once I've got everything sanded to my liking, I'm going to come back in with some foam. You can totally skip this part. You can add in some rocks or some sand. That would both be absolutely gorgeous to put inside of this little voted box. But I'm going to go ahead and go with some foam. I'm going to sneak that down in there, little pieces of it, and then glue it into place. I like greenery in my home, so this is why I'm going with this look. But that's the fun part about these projects, is that you honestly can do whatever you want. You just take the idea and run with it and have fun. And then once that's all glued into place, I have a trick. Whenever I work with these garlands, they don't have wire in the actual leaves. So what I like to do when I'm using this garland with foam is I like to punch holes in it, just like this, with using a needle nose plier. And that's going to allow me to put the glue down in there, and it's going to allow the greenery from the garland to stick in there very easily without having to worry about, you know, shoving it into that foam. It doesn't go in as easily because there's no wire in the greenery parts of the garland. And what I also like to do, I've learned this over time, if you put the greenery stem into the hot glue, it actually will start to melt it. So I like to add my hot glue first, and I let it sit for about a second or two while I cut off the greenery, and then I put those little greenery leaf stems down in there. At that point, it's not going to have any problems with it melting the greenery. It sticks in there perfectly, and you'll have a beautiful project that is not too difficult to try to get the greenery down in the foam. So you can see here I'm putting about 1 to 2 inside each of those holes, and I'm also bringing in a second greenery piece. It's these little leaves. I just like to add different types of leaves whenever I work on projects like this. I feel like it makes it look more realistic, and this will end up, when we're finished, making it look like something you would see at Pottery Barn, or definitely something at Kirkland's. They have this look to a lot of their decor pieces, and they charge so much. This is a $1.25 box, a $1.25 piece of glass, and then some greenery and foam. So I'm going to come in with some Spanish moss. I can't help myself. I love this stuff. If it's not your thing, skip it. There's no offense if you don't want to use the Spanish moss, but I love how it looks with the greenery. Once you've got that all together, add a candle, and it will become a beautiful decor piece to put in your home. I'm going to grab the larger 3 boxes from the stacking set at the Dollar Tree wood section. Some of these finial pieces, I pick these up at Hobby Lobby. I always just get them in little packs when they're on sale. I'm going to pull out 6 of them, and we're going to use these for the legs. What we're making is a beautiful French country tray that you can use anywhere in your home. I'm planning on using mine in my bathroom to corral all of our little countertop type things. Take wood glue. Now you can tell that the wood glue top had dried out and sealed. I don't know what happened to the cap, but it dried out. So I am going to be resourceful. That's what we do here in our craft rooms, right? I got out my popsicle stick and I just went ahead and dipped that popsicle stick in there and I got the glue out that I needed. I'm also going to add on some of my hot glue to give it that short-term hold so that everything's all gluing nicely together. And then I'm going to use these clamps that I get from the Dollar Tree craft section. If you guys don't have these in your craft room, oh man, try to get your hands on them. They are seriously the best when you're wanting to hold things together, but you need your hands back. You don't want to sit there for a long time holding something. And do this twice. I'm gluing together the 3 sides of these boxes, one to the next, and then I'm going to just clamp them and let that dry for a second. So once those are all glued together and I've got my clamps on, move on to the bottom. Now you can make this as long as you want. You could make this for a dining room table where you've got several of these glued together. You can put it on a kitchen island. However many you want to glue together, the possibilities are endless. So at this point, I've decided that I do need to get the nozzle working. And the way I fixed it was just Heidi's janky way of doing things in her craft room because I like to be resourceful. I just used a zip tie and I snuck that down in there until I got it to feed back out again. And I ended up actually finding the cap to it. It had just fallen out into another section in the drawer. Sneak that wood glue down into the finial opening hole, because once I add my hot glue around the ring of that circle and then I go and I put it onto the tray, that hot glue is going to hold it in place short term, but the wood glue is now up inside the finial and it's going to lock down onto the actual wood on wood glue, which is going to make it even stronger. So this is just a little trick I've learned over the years without these popping off. I know that sometimes crafters here on YouTube use hot glue for a lot of stuff, but I'm a big believer in using the right adhesives for the right things. So you can see that I've got one inside of each corner and then I've got 2 that are also in the middle, so it supports that middle box. So if I put anything heavy in that middle section, it's not going to just snap the sides and make it break. Now we're going to go ahead and paint it. Okay, so here's the funny thing. First I thought I was going to paint it like this ivory pretty white, and as I was painting it, I kind of laughed because it's literally the same color of the wood. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to stick with my theme. I'm going to go with the French Country Black because I just like the way that that looks. I'm just going to put on 1 coat over the whole box, but when you see this done, it's going to be so beautiful. Now typically, I don't like a lot of black type furniture in my home, but I do like little pops here and there for that French country look. So I'm going to go ahead, sand down around the sides, give it a little roughed up look. This is the country part of it. And then I will make sure I link these handles down below. These are handles I pick up on Amazon. I get a good deal for them because they come in a big pack. Mark some holes so I know right where I want to drill in a hole. I'm making sure the bit head is the right size, and then I'm going to drill my 2 holes. Now, because this wood is a little bit thinner, I'm not going to use a screw or anything like that. I'm actually going to use a brad, a scrapbook brad where they open up. You can get them at the Dollar Tree in the school supplies or the office supplies section. But I'm going to pull out my brad kit. You're going to laugh when you see it. I like things really organized in my craft room. I know I'm not the only one out there, but there's something about having these brads organized by colors that just makes Heidi's crafty heart happy. Find one that matches the handle the best, and they actually have like a goldish brad that matches these pretty well at the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to go ahead and just put those right inside, and they end up fitting perfectly. Once I've got that in place, I'm going to go ahead and sneak them into the holes that I just drilled. This is the easiest way to put these on, and it actually holds really well because we're going to lock it into place with some adhesive in a second. So you're going to see here, I was like so excited that these fit all in there so perfectly. Like, don't you love when a good craft plan comes together? You're making something and you think, hot dog. That was the exact size that I needed. That's exactly what I was hoping was going to happen. And then it looks so good and you get so excited about the finished product and how it looks. That's how I felt when I got these handles on the side of this. I'm like, oh, this is going to be so pretty in my bathroom on my counter to corral, you know, dental flossers and Q-tips. And then now I'm going to come in with some E6000 and glue those down into place. I'm using a popsicle stick just so I can kind of keep the mess under control. And then I did come back in, I don't show it, but I come back in with a little bit of black paint just to conceal that back part of the brad. Friends, I hope you felt inspired by this French country themed video today and using these wood boxes from the Dollar Tree. It's amazing what you can make with just a couple of craft supplies. Save yourself tons of money and give yourself a beautiful home to live in. Thank you so much for visiting with me. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you're up to in your craft room down below in the comments, and I want to thank you all again so much for being here. And until the next episode, bye friends.